All right, hey, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Face It is still having a couple issues with their lobbies. We aren't seeing one, which means that we might have to go cover SA, and we might be missing the EU finals as much as we don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I really don't know what's going on. Fate's been having some issues in the last few days. Kind of unfortunate for us. Yeah, I still don't see the lobby going up right now. Maybe I'll actually
Yeah,
look them
even
up on ticket.
it's if it's not ticketed, then or if it's ticketed, it'll show up in the Face It bridge
Right.
spec. If it's not, then it doesn't. So none of these are ticketed. Even the South American games not ticketed right now. So we have nothing to cast. Mildly
Oh
frustrating.
boy. Yeah, that sucks. What are we supposed to do? A South American game's going right now.
Yep.
What the hell?
Yeah, they started at 1. We've got quintuple X versus VRFG and G Pride versus MKG Pride. I recognize from last week. They made it
Yeah.
pretty deep.
Yeah, we casted G Pride last week for sure. Hmm.
G Pride. Oh yeah, last time G Pride went down to Thunder, who actually took the qualifier, I think.
Right.
Face it, plus.
What am I supposed to do? I'm gonna see some what the other streamers are doing right now.
I'm gonna do the same, which means I'm gonna turn your camera off here. I asked them and they didn't reply, but they said that some of them are getting ticketed. Yeah, all the casters are just trying to get people on the stacks to add them so that they can watch them that way. But looks like they're not getting a lot of responses, so rough.
Oh yeah, I was muted. Yeah, that sucks. These people are probably like have people muted and stuff like that, right? I mean, they're too busy playing the game. Yeah, that sucks because Dre, who is I believe this looks like what language is this? Some kind of Eastern European. No, this might be Swedish. I can't remember. But anyways, this guy's casting the EU finals in his language, and his watching it.
He's probably got
And
someone in the he's watching off a friends list guy probably. There were a
yeah,
couple that were able to pull that off, but for the rest of us, we are just kind of stuck.
yeah. Let's see. Is there anything else? This is a Russian guy, and they're like they're in the tournament tab as well. They're looking for the matches to go up because I can find it. This Russian streamer, Cyber Arena Pro.
They're looking in the you said they're looking in the tournament tab?
Yeah, and they cannot see anything.
Yeah,
Same with
same
us.
yeah,
They're
same
doing the same thing as we are.
yeah, same issue. Oh, actually, I mean, I guess technically they could, cuz what I'm seeing right now on the Face It thing is that the lobbies aren't getting created at all. Which means
Yeah.
if it's not created, then it won't match the ticket. We may still be able to find it off the tournament watch tab.
Off the Faceit League tab.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could just try to randomly guess, but these guys actually have flags, like the Final Tribe and stuff like that, but they're not showing. But Phantom Troops is showing. Okay, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
try it just in case.
Yeah,
Actually, I should not have picked the one with the 3 viewers. That's probably not it.
most of these are the
Yeah, this is
actual
not it.
Face It League games.
Yeah, they're just like just amateur players just playing for fun. Because they list these they only list the top 4 viewed games right now, and Final Traverse Singularity should definitely be at the top. Yeah, these games, all these games are it. Lobby not found. Yep, all these games are it.
I wonder if Face It has any way for us to do this. I don't know. Let's see. G Pride.
This is frustrating.
We're definitely gonna keep trying, you guys, but I don't even think even Golgi and I aren't super interesting enough to just
Oh, I
entertain
mean,
you
yeah,
guys.
obviously. No, we were casters. We're not, I don't know, stand-up comedians. We're not gonna start cracking jokes here. Ah. All right, do it.
That was a bluff. I got nothing.
I know.
I know what we can do. Why don't you tell me about Gwent, Golgi?
Gwent.
You don't want to. You don't want to spoil your video.
I mean, no. I have like 10-page script, and like I've been working on it for so long. Okay, so it's like I don't know how I'm gonna do it because it's a very long video. Because obviously 10-page script. My last video was like 4 or 5 pages, 4 pages.
Yeah. What sets it apart? So you laid it out pretty good. Like I loved the way that you just had like it was well paced. Your last video as well. Like instead of just going like clip to clip to clip to clip or whatever of showing like the exact similarities, you know, the you have a resource and you return your resource and then it shows mana where you're getting your lands back and then it shows Hearthstone where you're getting your gems back and all the other ones and stuff like that. It was like very well paced and everything like that, so you could it just laid out so well how all these games are played exactly the same.
The idea for my videos are that they're like kind of like video essays. I want them to make like an essay, right? Because I want to show like unlike a lot of opinion videos on YouTube, that there's actually been a recent rise into video essays in YouTube for various topics, and I really love watching them. And the difference between just opinion pieces and obvious video essays is the fact that you have to have sources, and you have to obviously link to sources in your description, or you have to show examples. So I can't just like quickly show like only a few examples. I gotta show examples of each and every game that actually happens, and just try and build my argument that way, right? um yeah, and my Gwent video, I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna do it because the problem is it's like almost like a 2-part video. I'm not sure if I want to divide it up because I don't have a lot of viewers anyways who can watch a 2-part video, so I might just make it into one. It's like half of it is like a critique on just Gwent in general, and another half is a critique on the most recent patch, which went terribly. So
Yeah, because the big complaint everyone had, you were telling me about this, was the addition of RNG in that, which is something that they didn't have before.
yeah, and they badly implemented it, and there's a lot of bugs. Bugs were, in my opinion, one of the biggest things as well. There's something about RNG, like the idea of CDPR, the developers of the game, had for introducing RNG is that, first of all, it's more exciting, right?
Hey, Flub. Sorry, we got Tulok and Flubber in here. For you guys just joining us, Face It is fucked right now. We can't get into any lobbies unless we're friends with any of the players, which has not been happening. Even my boy Spartan didn't get to add me in time, so we missed their games. We did have one of the EU qualifier games was ticketed. They remembered to ticket in the lobby, but in the Face It system, they didn't. The lobby never got created, so we're not able to watch it. This is happening everywhere, South America and in the EU finals right now. None of the other casters casting have any solution to this either. So we're just kind of waiting it out and doing what we can to bide some time. So we're going to be here talking to you guys. For those who didn't catch yesterday, Golgi has a fucking amazing video about a really balanced and impartial thought or takedown of everyone who was just taking a dump on Artifact before they, even anything about the game was revealed. And that's on his YouTube channel. Just search Golgi app. It's the only video on there on YouTube. I would definitely give it a listen. It was incredibly well put together. I think Golgi has a bright future in doing these kind of essays for YouTube, and I mean that absolutely sincerely. He's got the full like ASMR voice. You
Oh,
just feel you just feel so good listening to it.
I don't know, man. I feel so self-conscious with my voice when I do
I
recordings like that.
hate my voice. Everyone out
Yeah.
there, their voice, what they sound like recorded, and how they hear themselves is so different that you're
I
just like,
just hate my accent, you know? Like I mispronounce words and like slur words all the time, and I'm just like, oh my fucking god, I sound like such a fob. And you know,
but so his general the general crux of the video was that everyone's dumping on Artifact because CCGs have a bad reputation right now of being basically low effort cash grabs that all
yeah.
follow the same sort of flow. But we don't know anything about Artifact yet. There's only one collectible card game out there right now that doesn't basically use almost the exact formula of Magic the Gathering, which has been an established brand for almost 25 years now. And so Gwent, I have not played myself. That is the Witcher card game, right?
Yeah, Gwent is the Witcher card game.
So what sets it apart from the other collectible card games? I saw in the video. Um, yeah, I guess every of these card games have one thing in common. Like you've got your single battle line, and you fight to take down the enemy's HP. But in Gwent, in the bits that you included in your video, there was like 3 battle lines.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, before we go on, also Tlakar, thanks for the feedback. I really do appreciate it. Um, I do realize I say like a lot, so yeah. No, thanks for the feedback. I
Golgi's
got
just a valley girl at heart.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's so bad. Yeah, it's going to be my challenge, I guess. For the next week, I'm not going to say like unless it's like absolutely necessary. That's something I'll work on. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, thanks for nice comments. Yeah, and also like what I was saying in that video was that the reason why CCG seem so stale and people don't like CCG is that they're all copies of Magic the Gathering. So you draw a card at the beginning of every turn. You get your resources back at every turn. You can get one resource at the start of the turn. You play a card, and the creatures can't attack on the first turn. Like it's amazing how many games actually follow the exact formula. And creatures all have power and toughness, and they do damage to the enemy. And you win by bringing your enemy's opponent's life down to 0. But Gwent, and I was using an example. They're not the only unique one out there, but it's just an easy example because I play it. They don't play for life totals, for example. You don't win by bringing your opponent to life totals because there's no life totals. You're just trying to build up points on your side. You're trying to build a bigger army than they are. And there's 3 rows, and different things affect different rows. So you gotta be very smart about where you place your units, and that also is very matchup dependent. Like in some matchups, you just want to load a single row and have a really powerful single like range line or like a melee line or a siege line. And it just really makes you forward think. And they're like you don't draw every turn either, so draws are very scarce. So you gotta be really planning farther ahead. And the game is very calculated because I mean there was no RNG before. Until they added it in this like last patch, which was not popular. But you also like only have 24 card deck, and you draw 10 card at the start of the game. You can mulligan 3, so you see 13 cards in your 25 card deck. So you see at least half at the beginning of your deck, if you at the beginning of the game. So the game is super consistent, and it's just way different flavor than what other CCs are going for. So what I was saying in that video was that don't judge Artifact just because it's a CCG, because there are great card games out there. And I mean, this is coming from someone who really got into competitive game in a lot of ways through Magic the Gathering, because I used to be a very competitive Magic the Gathering player. When like went to like a couple of GPs. I think I day 2 every single GP I went to. Won a bunch of like I went to a invitationals before and stuff like that. Not enough to get be really pro, but I just want people to realize card games can be actually very interesting and fun to play if people just don't copy each
Yeah,
other.
and they can be very unique as well. Like
Yeah.
if it would be equivalent to if Valve never made Half-Life or Counter-Strike or any of that, and they were just Dota or some of the other games, and they say, hey, they tease a first-person shooter, and everyone's like, oh, just another fucking Call of Duty.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Right. That's a problem, right? When like, do you remember like the MOBA craze that was happening for a little while? When
Yes.
people were just pushing out MOBAs after MOBAs after MOBAs after MOBAs. It's like, well, how are you going to just stand out? And some of them were just like, all of them were just like, like the same. Just they're all this League of Legends clones. And you're like, why would you play this over League of Legends? Why would you play this over Dota? And then you see the few things that survive, like Smite survive because they're different, right? And then same thing happened when Overwatch came out. How many like hero shooters were just trying to like cash in on that, and how many of them failed?
Yeah,
Like it's the same thing.
Battle Right, or no, sorry, not Battle Right. Paladins.
Wasn't Battle Right actually one thing that like was
Battle Right? Yes, I was thinking
yeah.
Fortnite. Yeah, Battle Right was another one. There was a huge just explosion of them when and some of them existed were in development at the same time as Overwatch.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Battle Right was one of those actually in development alongside each other.
Yep. I think
There was another one like
wasn't it like pre Overwatch as well, or
I can't
it
remember.
released
But that's the
shortly
one
after?
that's made by Gearbox, right? The guys who made Borderlands, Battle Right. I think that's the
That sounds
one.
correct.
Yeah. There was another one I can't remember. It was a more grittier one, and the developer got made fun of because he said it was going to be like the Dark Souls of hero shooters, and like he thought it was going to be a big esports thing, and it went nowhere. I can't remember another one, but there was so many. There was so many. There was so many copies of it. And like this isn't like recent trend either. Like, do you remember when Minecraft was popular? The
Oh yeah.
amount of Minecraft clones was crazy, and only few really survived. And they survived by being different. Like Terraria survived because it was like way different, and they did like other different things because it's 2D plane, and they had like a different art style and stuff like that. But there's so many trying to copy it. And back when like Left 4 Dead was popular, how many like games had like throw in co-op modes, which was just like, and like how many zombie survivals and yeah.
Or Daisy, like when the survival
Oh yeah.
genre came out, there the
Yep.
massive explosion of those games, and that's kind of always been the I guess that's always been present in the game industry, right? Like
Yep. Easy
uh,
cash grab.
when Twisted Metal was popular, you had spin-offs like Vigilante and
Yep.
those kind of games.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just a like a video essay channel that I'm trying to make, just critiquing games, and I really do. I'm a writer, like writing like short stories and trying to write novels and stuff like that, and obviously in school for that as well. So I am trained to hate cliche basically, and I love unique original things, especially when people are being brave and they have artistic integrity and don't do it for it's like, oh, let's do this because we know what general public likes it. That's there's the ideology of Mark Rosewater, a developer of Magic, said, if everyone likes your game, but nobody loves it, your game is going to fail. It's better to have a core group of fans that love your game than a wide audience that likes your game.
Yeah, perfect example of that is that there is still an extremely active and daily Battlefield 2 community.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I was not lazy enough to actually download and set up whatever changes you need to do connect to the private servers,
yeah.
I would totally be playing that.
Yeah, I mean, and then look at like like when they try to like more quote unquote modernize like Battlefield, like Battlefield 3. Like no one plays Battlefield 3 anymore. Like it's completely dead. And yeah, and Battlefield 2 really hit that feeling of uniqueness, right? That like the variety of classes there were, and before they simplified everything,
And
and
especially
all the
like
guns,
one
the same
in
thing.
Battlefield 2, yeah, they had one person played a commander class, and the commander could drop assets on the battlefield,
Yeah. Oh,
UAVs
Commander
and
is so fun.
scans and artillery and supply drops and stuff like that. It's very unique and nothing like that in a first-person shooter of that type.
Yep.
And the map design was incredible. I think we've talked at length about
Yep.
Battlefield 2
We
as
did.
well.
Commander Rule actually is something that I really miss. Commander Rule, the final time it came out in Battlefield 2142, and I played the hell out of Commander class in Battlefield 2142. And ever since then, yeah, Commander class has gone, and even like squad leader roles have really diminished. Now it's just like stick closer to squad and make a lot of like points happen. But like before, when squads were more cohesive and there was like more objectives that can be done as a squad, there were like so many different things you can send a squad, because it was a commander who was watching the map like a RTS, right? So a commander can see what's going on that the soldiers on the battlefield can't. So you can command a a squad of 4 people to say, hey, you guys don't jump into the fight where everyone else is going. There's literally a UAV scan of their backlines. There's literally nobody there. You go and backcap every single base, and since they have the information, they go and backcap everything. And now people on the front lines and the enemies are panicking because they're getting backcap, so they kind of retreat to take those things back. Now they have less people on the front lines, and now you take the front line back. Like, there was a kind of strategy that can happen because of a commander system, because of better squad system, and now that's all gone Battlefield, and now it's just stale.
Yeah, exactly. I agree completely. Like you could do a scan and be like, okay, their armor division is here, and it looks, or their armor is running as a convoy here. They're gonna go for this point. Switch our armor. I want you guys to hold here. You can drop a supply crate down behind them so that they can sit by it and get repaired and resupplied while they're engaging these tanks. And then just lay in wait for their armor to come, blow them up, and then push forward with the attack. And then also the squad leader system, where you would separate your players up into squads.
Yeah.
One of them is the squad leader, and they can spawn on their squad leader at any time. So the squad leader has to play smart, take up a position, make sure that they've got a good balance within their squad, so that they've got supply and medic and all that stuff in the squad. And that squad can be a lot more effective than just playing like a generic first person run at them as a team.
Exactly. Now in Battlefield, squad leader system is gone. Everyone's basically a squad leader. You can spawn on anyone in your squad now. So that like really does diminish, the amount of leadership that's there, and the importance of having a squad leader alive, because if your squad leader is alive, you can have an mobile spawn point, and that's not even a thing. It becomes really weird in Battlefield, because if you don't wipe an entire squad in your back lines, then they can keep spawning in your back lines, which is stupid. Like before, like killing a squad leader was very important in Battlefield 2 and 2142. Now
you have to kill everyone.
You have to kill everyone, which can be really hard when there's one guy sitting in the back, like in the bush, and just not doing anything, just letting people spawn on him. Like, it's really annoying. So yeah.
So Golgi, I have a question for you. I have a game design concept in my mind. I don't know how to best explain it, but for those Overwatch type games,
Hero shooters,
there's only a couple of objective types that I see common. There's the payload and there's capture point. What do you think are some ways that can be innovated on?
I mean, if I just want to go back to Team Fortress actually has a lot more modes. I mean, for example, the most obvious one is capture the flag, right? That one has it's been a classic in shooters for a while. They can capture the flag. The problem with capture the flag is it can drag on for a very long time.
Yes.
If they're in a stalemate. There's also double capture the flag, obviously, when both teams... There's a difference when one team defends the flag and another team try to capture it. There's double capture the flag, which, is available for both. And there's also central capture the flag, where neither team are defending.
There's a neutral flag in the center.
Yeah, so there's so many things you can do with the capture the flag format, but I know Overwatch doesn't want to go that direction because they know it can go into a stalemate.
They actually do have an arcade mode that's capture the flag.
Right.
And it typically is a giant stalemate.
Yeah. What I really like in Team Fortress is the attack defense maps. So not in Overwatch, it's capture the points is attacker and defender, right?
Yep.
In Team Fortress, there's a mode where there are 5 points, and both teams start with 2 points and 1 neutral point in the middle, and you gotta capture all 5 to win. And there's a lot of interesting things that can happen, and there are competitive modes in Team Fortress, because there's no competitive mode for Team Fortress that actually plays in tournaments, actually plays capture the flag, because for the same reasons. But the de facto competitive mode for Team Fortress is 5 capture points, and it gives you interesting dynamic between like aggression and defense, and when to turn it on. And there's also possible backcapping, where the entire enemy team is trying to capture your point. You send one person away. Yeah, and then try to back up the enemy point, and there's a lot of strategy that can go with it, and that can give more incentive to play heroes like Torbjorn, who is like useless on offense, and only useful on defense and on certain maps. But Torbjorn on that map can be useful because there is a mix of attack and defense at the same time.
Or even if he is the one to go back cap, he could back cap and throw a turret up on it, on the freshly capped point.
Yeah, so stuff like that. They could do that.
What do you think about the idea of rather than a point to capture by holding or a cart to push? What about like a node that you have to damage and destroy? Like let's say there's a big obelisk or there's the computer point or something, and in order to progress past that point, your team has to put enough damage into it to destroy it.
Right. I mean, that becomes hard to balance in a
Balance,
way,
yeah.
right? How do you like prevent people from like peeking around corners, constantly popping shots at it from Widowmaker? So you put in like a closed room, and yeah, at that point, like stuff like Reinhardt gets really strong because he can attack enemies and attack the core at the same time, and um. I mean, they could do something like, but it's like a capture point that doesn't really feel too different from a capture point in a way. Like the idea is you kill the entire enemy team and then your entire team can focus the obelisk, right? That's why it turns into then.
Yeah.
So that's the problem with that.
What's some other? Come on,
Another,
innovate for me, Golgi. How do we break away from the stale? Capture the point, capture the flag, or push the thing.
I mean,
I guess if you are the one who can really find a compelling one, you're gonna be at the top of game design at this point.
yeah, I mean the thing is like because I critique stuff doesn't mean I'm the one that can think unique thoughts either.
Yeah.
But like they could really play with some of the cool modes they have in Team Fortress. Honestly, in Team Fortress is double payload, where
Yeah,
both teams have
those
payload.
ones are very very fun.
Yeah, and you're trying to get yours there before they get theirs there. So you gotta worry about how many people do we really want to keep on the push and how many people want to go there to disrupt their push. There's also tug of war where there's only one payload, but it goes both directions.
Yep. Oh
But
yeah,
they're just
that
all
one's
fun modes.
yeah.
That's the problem with Overwatch. They try too hard to go esports, and that's why I don't like playing Overwatch compared to like stuff like Team Fortress. Team Fortress, there was room for you to dick around and have fun. But if you have one person in Overwatch that's dicking around and having fun, your team loses, and your entire
Yep.
team get frustrated. Like there's no room for that because in Overwatch, games end so quickly if you have one bad player. Like, yeah, they tried too hard to go esports. Like it's not like those esporty modes exist in Team Fortress either, but forcing the entire community to play that way, I don't know about it.
Ooh, I had an idea. Okay, so the game itself that I have the idea for is I there hasn't really been a modern entry into the vehicle arena shooter, a la Twisted
Yep.
Metal. Um,
Yep.
and I think that's a genre that could really be updated with unique mechanics and better ways to play, incorporating some sort of MOBA elements where, rather than picking a guy and that guy has a gun and you pick up stuff off the map to refill their ammo or whatever. They've got their base weapon and they've got some kind of and they've got cooldown abilities, defensive, offensive stuff, different ways they can do that, and then one thing I think that would really lend to the gameplay and the map design, making it very dynamic, is that sort of Rocket League elements where it's more dynamic. Is that you're not just on the ground driving, as you can drive on walls and you can do little jumps and stuff. Sort of, you can float a little bit while you drive around. And so that's kind of the idea that I have, is that an updated vehicle arena shooter with lots of with a more varied range of classes and more varied range of abilities, playing as a team and trying to complete some kind of objective. I think what would actually be kind of interesting is a sort of roller derby mode where your team and their team are going around a track trying to block or attack each other in a way that you have one kind of class that is looking to score points with laps, and everyone else is trying to prevent him or prevent the other team, make a defensive line. Actually, I think that could be the most fun. Is like a roller derby with fucking with Twisted Metal cars.
Yeah, no, I mean that could be. I mean, like, I do like it. I mean, the important thing I feel like into standing out to stuff like that is making sure, I mean, you keep the point of having vehicles around, right? Making sure like you don't kind of fall into the hole of just hero shooters on wheels. just
Yeah.
really do have the central theme of it being on vehicles and that momentum, and the fact that it can be hard to control at times and things like that. Yeah, so no, that could be cool.
That yeah. Oh, that sounds fun. I think it could get a little stale though, with just that. I mean, the tracks could be bigger. It doesn't have to be just an oval ring. You
Mhm.
can incorporate dynamic things where there's high tracks and low tracks or something like that, and jumps to get
Yeah.
between them or wall rides to get between them.
I
Um,
mean, I think for simple ideas, um, that's repetitive. The important thing is to make sure you have a very high skill ceiling. That's how games like Rocket League or any kind of sports games, for that matter, can have a huge following. They have a very simple premise, but the skill ceiling is high, so you really do feel getting better every single time you play, and you can pull off crazy tricks that you'll not have been able to pull when you're low level, and you can see people are way better than you play the game. You can just be amazed at how they do their things.
all right, I will be right back to get a bowl of shisha on so I can smoke here at the desk. But yeah, I got some more stuff to tell you about. I've got sort of the theming of it figured out and a lot of the classes and things like that. So give me one sec.
Uh, I guess it is just me on
Still,
stream.
nope, nope.
Oops.
I'm back. I got my bowl done. Um, so yeah, the yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it, Flo or Tulak. What did the fish say when? Oh, I know what he said. What did the fish say when he swam into a wall, Golgi?
What did he say?
Damn.
Oh,
Haha,
good.
Tulak's got it. But yeah, so the game itself, this is all just like, dreaming basically, because I am in no way a programmer. I fucking hate programming actually. I've done
Yeah.
some in the past. It's so tedious to me. Um, but I don't know. Maybe I'll tinker around with Unreal Engine or something one of these days. But basically the classes and the game design is going to be around a military simulation, not like a simulator, but an actual simulation. Um,
Kind of
and
like Arma.
no, that's a simulator. A
Right.
simulation like Inception, sort of. Where, in Inception, the original intent of the whole Inception thing was for military drills. The soldiers can go into the dream world and stab and shoot and all that without actually
Okay.
doing that. And so all of
Right.
the, in whatever reality this is, all of the military combat either takes place in vehicles or is just straight up done in these simulations, like Country versus Country.
Right.
And all of the classes are based on sort of military roles.
Right.
You've got your generic infantry, artillery, tank, cavalry, scout, and then more specialized and generic medic, stuff like that. But then in
Right.
supporting roles and stuff like that, you can have mechanics and supply, and I don't know what admin would do or something like that, but intel, basically. And what would be ideal, what would be super great, is having synergies between different classes. It would make it very hard to balance. But to give you an example, my role in the military was called a fire support specialist. It's a 13 Fox, and we are the eyes and the ears of artillery, mortars, naval gunfire, attack aviation, all that stuff. Is we are their eyes and telling them where to shoot and stuff like that. So if you had some sort of synergy where if you had an artillery class on your team and a fister is what the nickname is. Don't read into that. A fister. Then there's some kind of synergy where they're able to shoot from further or like do indirect fire where they don't have to actually have to have visual to shoot their howitzer or whatever it is that they have. Like maybe there's a map. The fire support specialist, the fister, can shut up, Tulok. Can mark on the map or something like that, make a call for fire at a certain location, and and when there's a fister on their team, they have an ability that is fire mission or something like that. And when on a certain cooldown, when the fister calls for it, they can slam a button and it will launch an artillery barrage at that location. Maybe they're trying to lead a target and they're expecting this team who's doing a pass at this objective or something like that. They're expecting them to be here. And they can wait. They know the time for flight on the things, and they'll call the mission or something like that and fire it. And then as they're passing through this area, it just starts getting bombed by artillery, something like that. But just different synergies between classes, so that it's more than just like regular abilities that go on a cooldown.
Yeah, I mean, I think something big we have to worry about when it comes to making synergies like that is making sure everyone has fun in a way.
Yeah,
And I
it's
think
and they're unique. They're not just generic ones.
yeah. In that way, because a lot of times support classes in games can feel like and it happens all the time in like Overwatch, for example.
Yeah, who wants to play the healer in Overwatch? Very few people.
It's like when healers do their job, no one notices, and when they don't do their job, everyone blames the healer, right? And I feel like like someone that's like a spotter like that could have a feeling like that as well. When they do their job, everyone's like, no one really like cares because the person who's getting the kills are people actually was firing the artillery and stuff like that. But I guess the difference is who are you trying to sell it to, right? If you're trying to sell it to just like generic people who are doing the shooters, then of course I think it might be a little bit hard. But if you're into like if you're selling into like really hardcore military enthusiasts, maybe they'll like it. And they'll be able to appreciate the thought that goes behind on the teamwork and stuff like that. But it's like one of those things that just gets misunderstood by most like casual players.
Yeah, I guess that would be. I wouldn't want it to be too like technical about it. Is that I just want it to be. I haven't really thought about an audience, but I just want it to be a fun, unique game to play. That's really it. And I mean, that's who doesn't want to make a fun, unique game? So that's kind of generic about that, but
yeah. I mean that's. Yeah, I mean, it's just hard. It's hard to innovate much in shooters, I feel like, especially in the multiplayer genre, because so much is being explored. And it's right now, I think, I mean, for a very long time, it's been like the most popular thing. I think a lot of times nowadays, I feel like the first person genre is becoming a lot of people are trying to do like single player stuff with it, and single player first person shooters are really making a big comeback nowadays. with the Doom and Wolfenstein coming back, and they're actually doing really, really good. And still the existence of lots of like first person like story based games, which I think really fell behind for a little while when all the multiplayer was a craze, and I think single players are becoming a more accepted thing. And like I would love to see like a reborn from like have you played like Star Wars Commando,
I
Republic Commando?
I have not.
But it's like a squad based single player shooter game. And rather than fighting other multiplayer human beings, which can be very hard to balance, and you got to think about servers and all that stuff like that. Think about it's like Rainbow Six. It's like Rainbow Six
Okay.
before they were Siege, except it took place in Star Wars with clone troopers and stuff like that. And you have like breaching maneuvers, and you have different specialists that can do different things. You got to coordinate, and it was a single player experience. And of course, they can be brought that into like the modern age by making it like 4-player co-op or something like that. At that, and then you can live that kind of squad support role, and then people can all feel rewarded, because the problem in multiplayer games, you always gotta keep people points, right? Who's at the top of the in like who has had the most impact in the game or something like that. But in a co-op game, it's all about winning. It's not about who like pull the like, greatest amount of weight. So maybe for like a game like that, you could go that direction. And especially if like you're thinking of making tinkering and making a game for yourself. Obviously going for a multiplayer PvP experience is going to be very, very hard, because you need to think about servers and stuff like that. But if you make a co-op game, people can learn that, run that stuff through a local connection, through like programs like Hamachi and stuff like that.
That is true. Okay, I had an idea, Golgi. Expanding on the destroy point type metric. So I don't know if I want to keep racing mechanics in it, but I mean, you're in vehicles. It's natural, right? That there should be some kind of track sort of thing rather than just an open world. Because then you're just
Sure.
throwing people into a first person shooter in a vehicle, and that feels kind of awkward.
Yeah.
So along a map, along a track, there are 10 destroy points that are neutral. You're not trying to destroy each other's. Your team wants to be the one to destroy the control point, or the destroy
Right.
point. So while you are racing down this track against the other team in a team of 5 or something like that, keeping your formations, keeping each other alive, you're trying to destroy this destroy point. The damage done to it is neutral, so whoever gets the finishing blow on it is the one who gets it. So and there's some sort of mechanic to force you to progress through the track, like a wall of fire or whatever. That's just the generic thing, so that you can't just sit at a point and destroy it, right? You need to time
Right.
you need to have a strategy as far as when you're going to try and disrupt the other team so that they don't get a shot at the point, or let them take shots at the point trying to destroy it, then disrupt them so that you can sweep in and get the finishing blow or something like that. But basically forcing it around the track so that you are trying to get more finishing blows on these points than the other team, with some strategy as far as disrupting them along their path, and swooping in to take the finishing kills. It would need some balance, but that's.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I actually, now that I think about it, yeah, you have a very good point with talking about just not being another generic shooter, but in vehicles. Is that
Yeah.
I think all of the levels, all of the maps, all of the modes should be centered around being on a track, because you're in vehicles, so it should be somewhat of a race, a pseudo race, right?
Yeah, no, that will definitely keep the fact of being on a vehicle the main theme, and that should help it definitely be its own thing.
So I like that. Yeah, I've got a couple ideas brewing now. This is looking way better than, yeah, because I like before I just had this idea of like I don't know, just like a big map similar to an Overwatch map, but it's got dynamic walls and stuff that you can wall ride to go take
Yeah,
different routes, culminating
and
in a
which I
big.
think is a good thing to have. If you, I think alternate routes are one of the most interesting thing when it comes to uh racing and stuff like that as well. So you could still work with that.
Yeah, oh, it definitely will have that. Yeah, like high tracks and low tracks. They'll split at
Yeah.
points and rejoin and have different things. But yeah, but before it was just like the big map, and it culminated in like a throne room or whatever, where the objective is either it being a destroy the throne, destroy the obelisk or whatever. But no, yeah, focusing on unique objectives on a track, I think would probably make for a really compelling game. Like the idea of roller derby and cars with guns, it just tickles the shit out of me. I think that's so
Yeah.
like you know how roller derby right works, right?
Yeah.
For those who don't, it's basically like a team of 5. You have one person who is the jammer, I think. They are the person who can score points that round. You have a defensive line who's trying to prevent the other team's jammer from getting out ahead, and you're trying to get your jammer out ahead so that they can lap the opponents and score points. And something like that in vehicles with guns, I think it's so fucking just like amazingly fun. It sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest problem is, I mean, like, it's very hard to critique ideas, right? Ideas
It's all
are,
about implementation.
yeah, it's all about execution. It's just same thing with writing as well, right? Um, a good writer can make a mundane story seem very interesting, right? And
A
good
bad
game dev
a,
should be able to make a mundane concept seem very interesting, innovative. I mean that's what a lot of indie game devs do to strive to make it better. I mean, you can see, like, for example, like Super Hot, right? They took a just normal first person shooter type of thing, and they took a very simple concept that the time only moves when you move, and then made a very unique and cool game out of it that's very cheap to produce.
Yeah, and a bad game developer can make a unique, interesting concept be bland, poorly implemented, and not fun.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like, the basis of every art as well, right? You can't have good writing, no matter how good your story is. If you have, shit grammar and sentence structure, and like your paragraphs don't make any sense, there's no flow to it. No matter how good your story is gonna fail. Like, it can be the most interesting and the most unique story in the world, and it's not gonna work,
Yeah,
right?
or I mean, I don't understand actual art, like art,
Yeah,
painted art and everything like that. But Jackson Pollock, it's fucking splashes on a canvas.
yeah.
But it was, I'm told, very well executed, and he's a very highly regarded
Yeah,
artist.
I mean, I'm not going to be able to talk about abstract because I haven't studied it,
Same,
right? But
same.
I mean, there's gotta be a reason why he can do that and was considered like really good, and then a bunch of other people try it and then they're complete garbage.
Or even yeah, talk about architecture and stuff like that as an art form as well. Frank Lloyd Wright, he made just a theater. A theater in itself is not a new medium. It's not unique. It's not anything like that. But I know Gamage Auditorium here in Tempe that he designed is very highly regarded for its design and everything like that. So yeah, you
Yeah,
don't. I guess yeah, you're right. You don't have to be. You don't have to be like the first to do a thing.
yeah,
That's
but you
not.
gotta do it well. It's yeah, it's mostly on the execution. It really is. Avoid cliches, but you can throw your own style. Like, you can have a very similar thing inspired by something else, but if you throw your own style to it, it'll never be cliche. That's the thing, which is like a lot harder to explain. But like, I mean, it's the reason why first person shooters can also be compelling and very interesting when they all work off the base system, because a good first person shooter will throw their own style into it, and that will make the game unique and interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's Golgi, while we're sitting here talking, we haven't played any Vermintide as we've been planning. I think we got a pretty good exposure on the first one. It was
Yeah,
still a lot of learning though, and it looks like it's built a lot more progression. So like Left 4 Dead was fun on its
yeah,
its repeatability, but
yeah.
Vermintide with the fact that you can collect armor and weapons and stuff seems like it focuses. It's sort of a similar game, but with more progression.
Yep, it definitely has progression, which a lot of people thought was missing in Left 4 Dead. But that depends on who you are, right? Because progression can also rub some people the wrong way as well.
It can
Because I
feel
mean,
like grinding.
you also don't want like in a competitive game, right? You don't want progression in Dota, like cough, League of Legends, cough.
Yeah.
Um, like you just don't want that. Imagine like in Counter Strike Go, like you couldn't buy the op unless you're level 20. Like
Yeah.
it's dumb. Like or unless you
Or
pay
even
like
even
$10.
Battlefield 2 and 2142 had elements of that. Is that to unlock some of the different weapons, which had strengths and weaknesses, you had to get certain levels.
Yeah. So it depends on how competitive you want to make your game to be, right? Because if you want to make your competitive super competitive, uh, then 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 you don't want to have progression. But if you're fine with being like slightly casual, because Battlefield is like not a competitive game. Although it's a PvP game, it's not a competitive. It's not has an esports, so having thing is fine. And I think that's
That's
also another
I
reason why
wish
Vermintide.
they would have had like big esports games, like 30-man teams of
It's just
Battlefield.
so hard, right?
Yeah.
Managing that. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah, like with all the roster shit shows we have in Dota with 5 fucking
yeah.
people. Can you
And people
imagine?
DCing and stuff like that. Okay, pause. One of our players DC'd. It's like what? Yeah, no way, right? So Vermintide also course doesn't have a PvP mode, so yeah, it's completely understandable why they have it. People have a need to appear smart or more intelligent. Say a mess of abstract splatter on a canvas is how art does that. Others missing the chance to be first prove their own intelligence by agreeing with the first. They support each other. The joy of opinions is they can never be proven wrong. Shit ain't art, but what do I know? Yeah, no, I mean that's perfect opinion as well. Like, yeah, I know there's a lot of people who study art and still look at Jackson Pollock stuff and it's garbage, right? He's definitely a polarizing person because his stuff is so nonsensical. But like Jackson Pollock is a very special example. But like if we talk about, I mean, I don't know, we can like review most games or like movies or books, with a sane mind, and
Yeah.
people can, actually properly write essays and stuff like that. I haven't really seen someone who like wrote an essay about like Jackson Pollock's painting and really breaking down the parts and really with compelling arguments with facts that really convinces me why Jackson Pollock's painting is amazing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard to prove with Jackson Pollock's art why it is good.
Yeah, it's
Meanwhile, there are a lot of things that can be proven with art
Tulux.
memes.
Tulux got some hard opinions on art. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Again, as a person completely uneducated in that area, it's. I'm not gonna make an opinion or anything like that because there's a lot of factors that I can't consider. Jackson Pollock, that abstract art, it could be a critique and a commentary on the art of the time. Is that people were making shit art or something like that, and it could be a critique almost of like, oh, you know what, whatever you made an art of a farmhouse, like this is just as objectively good as some splatters on a thing. Your art sucks.
But,
This
but
sucks.
the difference is that that's not what Jackson Pollock did, though.
Yeah, I know. But I mean,
he
well, and
really
that's the
took his
thing.
art
That's the thing is,
seriously.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to have an informed, objective opinion on this.
Yeah, I
so
mean,
I'm not going to throw out any
we-
hard
we-
opinions.
Yeah, we would look ignorant because I mean, for us, we don't have any experience critiquing art, and
It'd be like
uh,
an art person critiquing video games.
yeah, or like someone who doesn't read in Japanese critiquing a Japanese novel or something, right?
Yeah. Yes. I couldn't read any of it. 0 out of 10.
Exactly. I can't read Jackson Pollock, so I can't say much. But
I can't read Jackson Pollock.
yeah,
I'm
not fluent in Jackson Pollock. So, like, what am I supposed to do with this shit?
That's such a good analogy. I'm not fluent in that language. It's
Yeah.
true. Everything kind of does have its own little language that even if you're able to read the language, like just as an aside, I'm so bad at being multilingual. I've learned other languages, mainly Japanese.
That's just the American suffering, though, for every American.
Well, I guess because I wasn't exposed. Like a key to learning other languages is exposing them pretty young at other languages, so that when their mind develops, it's able to do that. And actually, I didn't. Surprisingly, and I lived in a pretty conservative little town called Gilbert, Arizona, is where I grew up. It's mostly Mormons and very, very wealthy other people, so it leans pretty conservative. But I'm actually kind of blown away with the education that I had in in grade school, in elementary school, first, second, third grade, we had Spanish language sessions.
Oh, good.
Even one year we had French. We learned a little bit of
Nice.
French and stuff like that. So I was exposed to other languages and learning them at a very young age. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe my mind is just not developed for it. I took Japanese for a couple years in high school, and I understood the language and everything. But as far as
Nah, I
rapid,
would not.
as far as speaking it and comprehending it and rapid response and stuff like that, my brain was just not wired for it.
I would not blame that on yourself, honestly. Like, it's you can't really learn a language properly by being in classes.
That is true. Exposure is kind of
Yeah, you also
the
have to
key
be
to it.
talking to native speakers as well, right? And just constantly trying to work in those things. Um, like you'd be so amazed by how many people feel like couldn't learn any language, go over to a new country and see how quick they can pick a language up when they really need to talk in the language.
Yeah, and
Um,
tying this back to what we were talking about is of art is even if like in a classroom setting, perfect example is you can learn this, that, and the other. You can know the structure, but there's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of stuff that
yeah,
just does
yeah,
not translate. Um,
exactly.
and so that's when it comes to game critique, when it comes to different mediums of art and writing and all that stuff, um, is someone who's not it's hard to pick up if you're not already one of those
Yeah.
people, and there's a lot of stuff that's going to be lost in translation, so it's hard for us to sit here and cast stones. And I think Golgi, you and I are both very reserved people. We're not going to sit here, we're not going to make hard statements on things. But God,
I
we
mean,
got
but
way off
I
track.
have
We
very
started.
opinion on the things I do like
You
know
are
about.
very
That's the problem.
opinionated,
Yeah.
definitely. I
But
can I mean
like similarly, like I mean, another way to become expert at something just being exposed to, as you said, right? If you're exposed to art a lot, if you're exposed to abstract art all the time, maybe Jackson Pollock makes sense to you. And it's the same thing for if you're going to do video game critiques, right? I will not critique a platformer because I just don't play platformers. I would not critique racing games because I just don't play racing games, right? I would most likely critique card games because I play a shitload of card games. I play a lot of action games, so I will critique action games. I'm gonna play critique shooters because I like I'll
well
do
to
shooters. I like stealth genres and stuff like that, but I also don't like turn-based games, so I'm not going to critique turn-based games because I just don't enjoy them. I don't understand, like I can't really understand it.
Tulak, we're not, I mean,
We're not hating on you,
yeah.
like
We don't know
I
your
get it. I get your
credentials as
point.
well. You could have a bunch of
Yeah.
this is the internet, Tulak. You can claim you can have a bunch of pieces that are that are in a show right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, it's your opinion, like, honestly, and I don't think your opinions are very hateful. I think I definitely understand that. And you're right, there are a lot of people who actually don't get what is actually going on, but just agree with other people that seem intelligent so they can seem intelligent as well. As you said, missing the chance to be first, prove their own intelligence by agreeing with the first, and they support each other. Yeah,
If Powerpuff
that's very
stickers,
true.
dude, Powerpuff stickers absolutely count. That's retro, that's retro design, retro cartoons and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I mean cartoons are something that can be critiqued very much. I mean, I think Powerful Girls definitely have a very cool art style. And that kind of art style, like was unique to Powerpuff Girls. So something that you can definitely criticize. And like there's few things I just remembering about the thing. Like they did some really cool stuff. I always think about that Red Devil dude
Mojo
who
Jojo. Oh no,
no,
that's
the Red Devil one.
that looks like a lady.
That looks like a lady, yeah, the cross-dressing devil. But like what is his name? Just Devil or Satan or something like that. But anyways, him. I think his name was him. Yeah, there it is. Tula card. Yeah. Him.
Tulak wasn't joking about the Powerpuff stickers.
Yeah. I love him because I think in many times when they animated, they gave him extra frames, which made him really stand out because he moved like much more smoothly than any other characters in the thing, and I think that's a really cool technique they did. Like just by like increasing the amount of frames a certain character has over something else, it just gave it a otherworldly feeling, which him came from a hell, or so it's
St-
come from a different world, and that's a really cool thing they did. So you can critique that. That's very critiquable. So yeah,
stood out.
powerful girl stickers count.
That's oh man, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, the having just not just animating, but the frame rate, so to speak, of a person being different than anyone else to make them stand out as being someone from another, like the hell dimension or whatever.
Because that's art, right? Because in the world of animation, frame rates are rule. It's like the physics of the world. It's like science, right? And when a creature breaks that rule, it's breaking that world, and it's like having a creature from actual that plays by their own rules. It's different, right? So it's a very subtle and almost poetic way of doing it. So that's cool.
Looking at, let's see, I got my library here. Golgi, do you want to play some more Vermintide here? Maybe in the middle of the week. Probably we can take a break while we're doing the Epicenter qualifiers, since we're doing like 20 hours a weekend plus.
I mean, maybe we don't do them tonight. I think I'm getting like burnt out of like Dota this week, anyways, and like this like not launching has made me quite frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, at a minimum, I think we should try and hit NA. But even those are starting in 30 minutes.
Right.
I don't know if those are going to launch. We're going to have the same problem, I think, now that we're having with all the other lobbies.
SA had it as well, which is really frustrating.
Yep. But who's in? Let's see. Morty, thank you for Pango. Chunky and Cats 123 are the squads here in the NA qualifiers. Starting here in 30 minutes. Yeah, I don't know. We could take an extended break. Like, I'm actually having fun just bullshitting about random stuff.
It's talk show now.
Yeah, I like the directions that we're taking. Like, we started talking about just game design in general. Now we're talking about art. We're talking about Powerpuff Girls. Like, who fucking knows what we'll be talking about next. You know what I'm excited though for is Borderlands 3.
Oh, is it coming out? When's it coming out? We should play that together.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to be. I think it's slated for 2019. I think.
2019. Ooh, still a year away.
Date. All right, hold on. March 2022 set a highly anticipated new title from 2K's biggest franchises in development for fiscal year of 2019. That's October 18 to September 19. Yeah, so still at least a year away. We know that the Elon Musk flamethrower is going to be in it, though.
Oh,
did you hear about that?
Yeah, I heard like he made some joke about making flamethrowers if something sold a bunch, and he did sell, so he actually did it and made like a lighter and call it a flamethrower and is selling it to people, which is kind of funny.
So he's got a side company that's called the Boring Company. What is the whole deal with it?
So actually, the SA finals lobby went up.
Is it viewable?
Yep, I am actually in it right now. They're just ending the draft of the first game.
Oh, perfect. MK versus VRFG?
Yeah. Yeah, might as well we can jump into this then.